Hello, I'm Deborah Wright of Scribe Consulting, and I'm here today to go over with you for 5 tips for speeding up the search as you're looking for prospective funders to apply to. My message is directed specifically for school districts, but the information can go to anyone who's applying for a grant or several grants. The first one is review funding limitations that the funder provides. The funder is very specific about what they will fund, and oftentimes that means the difference between a proposal being accepted or rejected. For instance, many funders may be located within one city, maybe on the East Coast, and yet they fund multiple areas on the East Coast, maybe for multiple states. They may also reach out Midwest. So you have to be very careful that your agency is located in the areas that the funder wants to fund. Because if you're not, the funder will reject your application, no matter how well it's written, no matter how much work you put into it. The funder will say, no, you do not fit our funding guidelines. And 2, the requesting agency did not follow directions. Number 3, a really good tip I would like to pass on to you is looking for funders locally. They're the ones that are looking to enhance their community. Because many of the people that work in agencies within the city have their children going to the local schools. So they would like their community prepared for their children as they grow up, to support their children with their educational needs. And if a grant searching agency is looking for funding, they're more inclined to provide that grant. So look for local agencies to apply first before you're looking outside your local area or even outside your state. The next one is if a funder states they do not accept an application, believe it. Believe it and move on. Because a funder is very, as I mentioned before, very particular about what they will fund, and oftentimes do not want to receive an unsolicited application. Because you're looking for funders in a very quick way and you want to eliminate those, you can hold those aside to a later time when you have more time to call the funder, contact them, and see and form a relationship. Because relationships are not just business, they're people working with other people. So spend the time and just to call the funder when you have the chance. But if you're looking for quick sources to find funding, you may be in a hurry, it could be near the end of the fiscal year for you. This tip of calling a funder is great, and I'll go over it a little bit more in the next one. And number 4, making a habit of calling each funder before you send your proposal out. As I said before, funders are not just strangers, they're people. And a phone call can make a friend, make a friendly contact. You have someone who gives you more information than listed in the proposal guidelines. You have the funder listening to you, giving you insight, information, telling you, does this application that you're willing to submit to us, is it okay as it is, or does it need tweaking? Or the best possible way is to have the funder say, send me a proposal, let me take a look at it. So this is one way, I consider it like the back door way, but this is one way to get your application in front of a funder. Over that, we don't accept applications, but let me stress, if you're looking in a hurry, you want to find funders that accept your application immediately. This secondary step of contacting a funder who does not accept applications can be done later. So if I come upon one, and I've seen many of them that says we don't accept unsolicited applications, then I put that one aside and go to the next one. So that's what I want to clarify. If my instructions were not clear, again, if an application says we do not accept applications, believe them, move on. You can save that for later when you have downtime to call and make a relationship over time with that funder, and you may find you'll be able to send a proposal in later on. Maybe not this particular funding cycle, but maybe the next one. And my last one is double check the size of awards that have been issued in the past for this funder. Many times funders will list these large awards on their website for previous grantees, but the previous grantees could be agencies they worked with for several years in the past, or recently awardees where they know the work this agency does. Therefore, they may get the higher amount of funds. But if you're new to this funder and you would just receive an award, your award may be smaller. I guess because you must form that relationship with the funder for them to say, okay, you have the funds, you have the money, you're working with your program, you're following the directions you've given us, what you're going to do with the funding. So after that funding cycle is over and you choose to reapply, then you may receive a larger sum of funds because the funder has a relationship with you. So these are 5 basic ways that you can find a funder very quickly that will accept your application. You can make a phone call saying we're going to send your application in. It will be accepted, so you have grant proposals in process. So this is just the tips I have for you today. And this is Deborah Wright for Scribe Consulting, and I do thank you. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.